All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, happy to be speaking with an individual who has quite the big fight coming up. It is going down on June the 10th. It is a lightweight clash. We have Anthony Showtime Pettis stepping into the PFL cage, taking on Alex Martinez. And this is the first time I have Alex on the show. How's your day going so far, man? You doing a lot of stuff within the PFL bubble there?
Hey there, yeah. Right now we just arrived yesterday night from Vegas. So I was doing my training camp in Vegas, and I arrived yesterday night around pretty late actually, around 11 p.m. here in the Atlantic City. And yeah, so since then we took a COVID test, and then right away we get locked down for a quarantine day. So we do 1 day quarantine. So today, I'm stuck in my room doing nothing but just pretty much like watch TV, doing interviews, and that's about it. So reading, and that's it. And then I gotta do a little bit of movement just to keep my body nice and loose, massage, stretch, and yeah. So we're in lockdown, and tomorrow we're out, and we get our training schedule here in PFL, and we just count the days down.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Are you like one of those fighters that gets a little bit stir crazy having to be in the room that much, or are you kind of just chilling and riding it out more so?
I need to train every day. That's the thing about me. I always need to be training or doing something with training, just because I find I don't sleep very well if I don't train. I don't know why. Maybe it's like psychological or physical. I don't know what it is, but I always find I need to put in some energy. Maybe that's what it is, just accumulation of energy. So I'm always gonna be doing something. I'll be honest to you, I can be in a lockdown and I'll be fine. I don't know. I always find ways to entertain myself, like I say, I brought a bunch of books, so I'm just reading and relaxing, watching videos, YouTube. I love YouTube, so I'm spending a lot of time there. And, I can survive in a lockdown, no problem, to be honest. I don't need that much social in my life. All I need is just, to go out every so often just to say hi, and then I go back into my room. I'm a little bit introverted in that sense. But, for me, lockdowns are not that bad, to be honest.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that, man, for sure. But you mentioned, working in Vegas as of late. Like, how long have you been training over at Syndicate MMA there? Because, it seems like you're getting in some great work over there.
Yeah, well, John down there, John Woods, he took care of me very well. I also know Jojo from Joanna Calderwood for a while already, because we met each other in TriStar. And then she ended up moving to Syndicate, and then I've been to Syndicate for 5 weeks now. So that was my first time that I've been there, and I loved it so much. Actually, before I came into PFL in Atlantic City to compete, I went down to Victoria and trained down with Adam Zucek for about almost a week to 2 weeks. Almost, I think it was about a week to 2 weeks. And he actually told me, "Hey, Alex, you should go down to Syndicate. I think they're going to be a great team for you, and you should go check it out and see what's going on." So after I came to PFL here, PFL asked me if I could stay in the U.S. because of border restriction reasons about COVID. There is a lot of people that leave the country and then they come back and they cannot come back into the country anymore just because, they get locked out of the country due to restrictions of COVID. So PFL asked me if I can please stay in the U.S. and they will take care of me. They'll take care of my staying, which I was like, well, heck yeah, let's do it. And of course, the first thing that came to my mind is, well, I need a place to train, I need somewhere to go. And I thought of two places, I thought of course, the first thing that came to my head was Syndicate MMA, because, I already been hearing a lot about them and also was recommended to me. And the other one was Sanford MMA in Florida, just because I know some people from there as well. And I just had to decide between the two. And then when thing came down, I was like, well, there's a reason why Coach Adam Zucek from Victoria already recommended me to come down to Syndicate. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go to Syndicate. I reached out to my management team, actually, which is kind of cool. Ruby, so the owner of Ruby, Daniel Rubinstein, he actually he's good friends with John Wood, right? So I reached out to him. I reached out to Coach Adam Zucek if they can set me up with Syndicate. And then as soon as I got there, it felt like home. Like they treated me so well. The first day I got there, doors were wide open. The guys were amazing. I found a bunch of 155ers well-rounded all over the place. And there's always somebody better than me there, which is awesome. Somebody has better jiu-jitsu, somebody has better wrestling, somebody has better striking, somebody has better boxing. So, like, when it comes down to just finding somebody better in each part of MMA. I found everything. I was like, okay, this is the best place for me to train. Somebody's gonna push me always. I'm gonna get the best rounds whatever I want, and it was awesome. It was a great time in Syndicate, and I was there for 5 weeks, like I said.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you talk about just the importance of finding that right fit. That seems to be something that's a case for you, even on a promotional kind of level, because you fought for iKon Fighting Federation. I saw you were with Brave for a little bit. Like, what about PFL represented just a perfect fit there? Like, why did that end up being the promotion you ended up affiliating yourself with there? Because obviously it's paying dividends now. You got this huge fight coming up and everything, but like, when did that, or rather why did that become the promotion you decided to sign with at the time?
I'll be honest to you, it was a blessing from the skies almost. We had no idea PFL was coming. I never had PFL in my radar before. I knew about PFL and I knew they were doing amazing things, but I just never thought that they would reach out for a fighter like myself, just because they were always looking for fighters that already been around for a while. So things kind of went down very fast. Like I say, I fought for iKon in December, and then I was right away in a short list for UFC. So I was kind of just waiting, pretty much for an opening due to all the restrictions. But the thing is, I don't have also a P1 visa to fight in the UFC right away. So, we were kind of finding ways to get in there. And the best shot was going to be to fight in Abu Dhabi, just because, I can easily go to Abu Dhabi and fight there, no problem, no worries about visas and stuff, just because I'm from Paraguay. But to get into the US, it was going to be a little bit more of a problem. Now, so we were aiming to just kind of, whenever UFC goes down to Abu Dhabi, in Fight Island, for us to kind of jump in. So we were almost kind of like on the waiting list in that sense. And so while waiting, I was kind of looking, okay, well, there's going to be UFC Fight Island in this month, and then the next time it's going to be here. So I was like, always kind of try to be ready around those times in case something happens and I can jump in right away. They never seemed to happen. The beginning of the year when they went to Fight Island, it didn't happen. So I was like, okay, well, I cannot be waiting around for too long. So I was already aiming for another fight. We were actually planning to fight for LFA on April, or for UAE Warriors down in maybe May. And but it wasn't clear, wasn't sure if it was going to happen. So my wife and I were getting so bored in a small town, Grande Prairie. There was so many lockdowns all the time. So we were training well, but it wasn't like, the whole team wasn't there. It was only whoever can make it, and everything was hidden, right? So we went out for just pretty much almost like a holiday, like an adventure with my wife. We borrowed the RV from my father and mother-in-law, and we went down to Vancouver, and we did almost like a training trip down there. It was very uncomfortable. It wasn't very, the training was great, but I mean, just the state I was in physically, just because, living in an RV, there is no space, very uncomfortable. The first week was fine, but then I was getting wore down, so training was becoming harder and harder every single time. But it was a great adventure. We had a lot of fun. And all of the time, while I'm doing that adventure, my management team calls me, my coach calls me and say, hey, guess what? We have an opening for you to become an alternate for PFL. And I'm like, wait, what? And so it was only 1 week before they entered the bubble. So the first bubble was 17 days. Now it's 12 days, the second one. But the first bubble was 17 days. And I had to leave one. I was asked if I wanted to be part of the PFL season 2021 as an alternate 1 week before I had to leave. So right away I was like, well, what's in it for me? And they say, okay, well, if you're an alternate, you get paid this much money. Just pretty much to come to the bubble, do the quarantining, stay 17 days there, and be ready to fight anybody, anytime. And you also have to make weight, and then you get paid this much money. I was like, well, that's pretty good money for just making weight. So I was like, okay, well, let's do it, So I took the chance. Right away, we traveled all the way from Vancouver. We went back home, which was like a 17-hour drive. So we took 2 days to get back home. And I arrived there on a Monday noon, and I had to leave there right away on Sunday. So I arrived there Monday, and right away I started working on my papers, because I had some paper things that I had to kind of get straightened out, because I'm from Paraguay. So right away I got all my papers done. Then how the doctors in Canada is a lot different to get all my meds. So that was, a stress case for me. The whole week I was fighting, just trying to get all the papers done, my medicals done. And the whole week I was training and getting that done. So it was like pretty much, it was pretty chaotic. Then Friday comes in, and just when I'm getting ready pretty much to leave, my coach calls me and say, "Hey man, guess what? You're part of the 2021 PFL season now. You're fighting Lloyd Rajabov." And I'm like, "Well, cool, let's do it." And then now all of a sudden, going from a non-fighting mindset, because I wasn't sure I was gonna fight. I mean, it's $1 million for the prize. So I was like, okay, there is not gonna be a fighter who's gonna pull out of this fight. They're gonna do everything they can to be able to go through this tournament. So in my head, I was like, wait, there's no way I'm gonna fight. There's something very big needs to happen. But it's also the fight game. So, I was always kind of aware that there was a good chance I was gonna fight. And then it comes down to all of a sudden I'm fighting. So I go to sparring the next day, Saturday, and then I leave Sunday. I go to Ottawa, get my passport done. It was quite the ride to get there, and that's how I got into the PFL tournament. All of a sudden, I did my 17-day bubbles. I fought, won the fight, and we're here.
Yeah, and just what an amazing. No, it's all good. I love the detail, man. I was just gonna say what an amazing journey and everything like that. And you talk about being from Paraguay and just coming over to Canada when you were 14 there. I kind of find the backstory a bit interesting though, because it's saying that you're the son of a taekwondo master per some of the research I've done on you, but it was saying that maybe martial arts wasn't something that you like really sunk your teeth into prior to moving to Canada. Like, when did you discover MMA as your passion and decide this was something you wanted to actively pursue more so?
Yeah, like you say, my father is a taekwondo master now. So my father actually came to Canada to teach martial arts, right? So to teach taekwondo. He came into Canada, and then he opened his own. Well, he did not open, but he worked in Edmonton for 2 years. Then they offered him to open his own gym to run a gym in Grande Prairie, Alberta. He moved to Grande Prairie, and then that's when things started to happen. I fully focused myself only on taekwondo, like competitively. And then when I was around 17, I really had the eager to start doing something more with a harder contact sport. So I was thinking more into kickboxing. I wanted to become a professional kickboxer. So I looked for a gym that had professional kickboxing. I went to a champion gym at the time. That's the one that was running full contact sports like boxing, kickboxing, and MMA as well. So as soon as I get there, I started the classes. I started doing some boxing, and somehow then I started seeing MMA on the side. And all of a sudden, from wanting to become a professional kickboxer and having kicks, I was like, you know what? I want to do something more like more real, like I want to prove myself, something that is like closer to the streets almost. And it kind of just came down to see. I watched Anderson Silva video a few times, and I really love the things he did. Like he really inspired me. So I watched some of that, and I kind of wanted. When I seen it, I was like, that's what I want to become. I want to be that. And all of a sudden, I just kind of found a gym that was teaching MMA, which was Champion Gym. I started MMA there, and all of a sudden, not too long after that, Bill Mahood moves into Grande Prairie, and he starts teaching MMA in Champion Gym. And I was like, well, this is it for me. Like I think I found my path right now. And I stuck to it for a bit. I went to my first fight, I lost. I got very depressed. I thought I was going to be very good at MMA. And it turned out to be the other way around. I was actually kind of lost for a bit there. And then my dad just kind of told me, hey, this is just part of the journey. You just have to keep on going. And that's what I did. Somehow I found a way to stay in the game and not give up from my dreams. Because like I said, the first fight really broke me. That was my first amateur. I got TKO in the first round. And, I thought I was going to be great at MMA. And, all of a sudden it turned out that I wasn't really that good, to be honest. I had great striking. My kicks were always good, but I didn't have any ground game, no jiu-jitsu. So the first thing that Bill said, okay, man, you got heart, you got talent, and you're young, but you need to start doing some jiu-jitsu. And then he started teaching me some grappling. And then after that, I took my second fight, and then after that, everything is history. I kept on going, and I'm here now. So it's a long journey. It just kind of came down from always being a martial artist, never knowing what to do as a teenager. I did not want to be a doctor. I did not want to work just in construction or anything. I didn't want to be a laborer. So I gave my shot to become a professional fighter, and it turned out well, right? So I kind of somehow found the way. My dad helped me a lot. The support of my family helped me a lot. And of course, my coach, Bill Mahood, is the one who kind of like guided me through the right way, where to go. It's because of him that I am here today. It's because of him that I actually got to go to Tricep Montreal and see how professionals train, how the best of the best train. It's because of him that I get to go down to Vancouver and also now, training Syndicate. So he's the one who is always pushing me to go somewhere better to be able to become better at what I do. So yeah, it's a long journey.
Yeah, and it's just such a great gym too. Like, it seems like there's a real level of camaraderie there over at Champions Gym in Grande Prairie, and that seems to also extend to just everybody in the town that follows MMA. Like, it seems like there's that real support for you and stuff like that when you're not even just competing, say, with XFFC, like the local promotion there, but like in your PFL journey so far here. It seems like GP really showing some love for you, so that must feel pretty good.
Yeah, well, we're a small town, right? I mean, that's the thing. We have 2 big gyms on there now. So there is a Gladiator Martial Arts, which is actually my dad's gym. And, that gym supports me wherever I go. Whatever I do, wherever I go, they're right behind me no matter what, So it's amazing to have that support. And then as well as Champion Gym, Raphael Bergmann, he's the one who pretty much started all the Champion Gym. He kind of kept it going for a long time, even in times where probably should have been shut down. He somehow found a way to keep it going, and it's people like that makes it, how you say, that makes it makes all of this happen. So I'm very thankful for them, and of course Bill Mahood coming on board and really growing the MMA in Grande Prairie. If it wasn't for him, I don't think we'll be really having a great MMA team. He's the one who came in, and how you say, Graf, he just knew how to connect things, like he's the MMA coach, he grabs, he says, all right, so we have a good wrestling coach here, we have a good striking coach here, and then, we'll find a way to connect all of that together into MMA. So he's our jiu-jitsu coach as well, so he kind of just found a way to put it all together and make MMA go from a very low level into a very high level for Grande Prairie, to be honest, because, the best fighters out of Grande Prairie came out, pretty much from Champion Gym there, Spencer Jebb and myself now. And then there is another wave that is coming out. Not to put the other gyms down, but that just shows how much of experience Bill has in this sport, right? So Bill Mahood is the one who really kind of pushed the sport down in Grande Prairie. And he did the same before in Prince George, as well as in Vancouver when he was living there, and now he's doing the same in Grande Prairie. So it's just awesome to see how a good leadership makes such a big impact in wherever you go.
Yeah, I mean, Bill, definitely a guy who knows how to really bolster different MMA scenes and just growing it on an international level for so many years now, or on a national level too, even just like really doing some great work for sure. So big respect to the Butcher there. But I want to talk about this upcoming fight here, because you got a big name opponent in front of you here, Anthony Showtime Pettis. I'm kind of wondering what your thoughts are on just his output as a fighter in general, and just also what was it like when you got news that this was going to be your next bout? Like, how were you feeling?
Well, we were actually aiming for him, to be honest. That's the thing. I think everybody was already aiming for him, but we actually asked for this fight. My coaches, they wanted this fight, and they were like, Alex, we're going to take this fight. This fight is going to be ours. And it turned out, the way we wanted, which is awesome. Of course, he's a big name. He's a big fighter. He's a great fighter. So we never really looked down on him. A lot of respect to him. I used to look up to him when back when he used to fight, coming up into the rankings to become the champion for the UFC when he was back in WEC, right? And just him being a taekwondo fighter, for me, that used to be a big inspiration. I was like, oh, look at that. There's somebody actually doing good that does taekwondo. So for me, it was a big thing, right? And now to be fighting him, it's amazing. I love that. That's what I signed up for. I signed up to fight guys like him. And right now it's becoming reality, right? So it's, how do you say? I mean, I'm very thankful for the opportunity, and I'm gonna make the most of it. So I train very hard. We're ready. We're physically ready. We're mentally ready. Now we just gotta go and do it.
And I kind of just thought to posit this question because, like, you gave really intriguing insights about your debut amateur loss and just how much of a setback that was, and just in noticing you have the spotless professional MMA record, is there almost not that kind of pressure to, like, I mean, obviously you want to win, but like, is there not that same kind of dread that maybe some fighters have of like, oh, I have to maintain the O on my record just because you've already, felt what it's like to taste that kind of defeat, or do you not really think about that kind of facet much at all?
There is always the fear of losing. Like for me, I fear a lot more about losing than anything else. I'm not scared of getting hurt. Of course, no, I don't like pain. Nobody likes pain, but I'm not scared of getting hurt. I've had pain so much. I already had pain before, and I have overcome all of them, so there's no problem there in that sense. I'm not scared of the person in front of me. For me, always my biggest fear is myself. I'm always scared that I'm not going to do the right job, or I'm not gonna go and perform to the highest that I can. I'm a high achiever, right? So I always try to go and do the best that I can with what I got. Even like, for example, my last fight, I was very disappointed with myself, and it wasn't because I thought that I lost or anything of that. It was because I knew I could have given more, So that's always my biggest fear. My biggest fear is always going out there and knowing that I have some left in the tank. So right now for me, for this fight, my biggest fear, to be honest, doesn't really come down so much about, I don't want to lose. It's not so much of that. There is always that fear, of course, because like I said, I'm a high achiever. But for me, it really comes down to making sure that I give my 100%, that I give my all. If I do that, there is no way I'm going to lose this fight. So that's why I know that that's my biggest fear. I know I have everything. I know I train hard. I did the right things. I eat well. I go to sleep when I have to go to sleep. I do everything right when it comes down to doing things right. So now for me, it really comes down to not beating myself up. That's what it really comes down to. Because in the end of the day, I know that the biggest enemy in that cage is myself. And that's it. Like my opponent is there just to push me and to make sure that I don't quit. But at the end of the day, it's me against me. And that's all I can, that's all that really worries me always is like, okay, I have to defeat myself before I get in the cage. And if I do that, then, we'll keep maintaining that all till whenever. Now, if I don't do that, then that's when troubles come in. That's when I have issues. Like I said, my last fight, it did not go how I wanted it to go. I know I could have given more. I know I could have done more. And, of course, this time we prepare the best that we could so that doesn't happen. And, I mean, we're still undefeated, so it went well. But at the same time, I wasn't very happy with my performance. I could have done more. And I know I had a lot more to give. And it is what it is. We're here now, so we're not dwelling on the past. We're just moving on to the future, and we're excited for it.
Yeah, for sure. And it seemed like just the timeline for the PFL debut, I mean, like you were talking about, rooted in more of like a replacement, got to step into the picture kind of thing. So I imagine there's going to be, I guess, more of a level of comfortability with this one because it's like a defined, mapped out, you're getting ready to fight kind of thing. So maybe there's not going to be that commensurate, performance that you're looking for out there, that like fully realized, like show all your skills kind of performance, just because, a little less hectic. It's not like as much of a last minute kind of a thing.
Well, that's for sure. Like I said, last time I came in just 1 week before the PFL bubble. I was weighing around 186 before going into the bubble. And that's very heavy from going from 186 in in about a month, less than a month, to go all the way down to 155 to do it properly, right? I got it done. I felt a little bit of my weight cut into the fight, but, I got it done. Things went the way it should have been. And like you say, it was very chaotic for me. Just going from the week before, I was very distracted. That's what it was, like even right now, for example, the interviews that we're doing, I'm pushing it all before, at least I'm giving myself at least 1 week so I can just fully focus. Last time, everything was going so fast, so much to take care of. It was very chaotic, it was very disorganized. Everything was all over the place to the point where I'm pretty much hours away before my fight and I'm thinking, it's like, man, I haven't had time to even think about my fight yet, so now we actually have the time to focus more, so it should be a lot better, I'm very excited. Like I said, it's I should be there a lot more, and yeah, I'm very excited. Like it's I don't know how to explain this. It's just a different feeling. I feel a lot better, a lot more confident, a lot stronger, and I'm just excited to go and do what I do and enjoy.
Yeah, no, I love hearing that, man. The enthusiasm is palpable for sure. And just, it's been really fun getting to talk to you and everything, but I want to be mindful of your time and your schedule and all that. So is there anything you'd maybe like to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping things up here, man?
No, man, you know what? There's not much to say. I just want to thank everybody who supported me so far, and I'm going to show how thankful I am when I fight in the cage. So that's the best way to thank them. Just give my all in the cage. that's about it, man. I'm ready, I'm focused, and 11 days to go now, so we're gonna give it.
Yeah, great sentiment to end things off on, and just really excited for this fight. I mean, I was excited before talking to you, but the enthusiasm bolstering it that much more, and people can check that out on June the 10th. PFL's 2021 season keeps rolling on, and a high-stakes lightweight bout going down between Anthony Showtime Pettis and the unbeaten Alex Martinez. Thanks for coming on the show for the first time, man. Hopefully the first of many. You enjoy the rest of your day there.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Dylan. Appreciate it.